Hello everyone, it's Pam here again, and it's a Monday, which means we're doing Margarete Miller Collage Challenge for the week 37. So if you go to hashtag 2025 CWP37, you will see others who are doing collages with these same prompts. So let's go over what we need. The first thing we need is a drawing of a photo of a clock tower, a handwritten list or note, a bridge, something red, a clipping of an ornate border or frame, and the bonus is washi tape. Again, I try, if you've been following me, you'll know that I try to do all the prompts. I don't always get that accomplished, but I always try. And so today is no exception. I have got each and every one of these. So let's start with our drawing or photo of a clock tower. That would be Big Ben. And this is some scrapbooking paper from a it was like a travel pack of some kind, and it had Big Ben on it. I knew I had this, so that was my first thought, was to come to this because I knew I had this. So I'm just going to make a dent here around this edge of this circle so I can put my piece on. So as you see, this is going to be half of my background. So let me see if I can get this on here reasonably well and in the correct place. So see, you can see my little indent, which is telling me where this needs to go. So that's good. So I want it this way. So I'm just going to do it right here, and hopefully I get this on here straight. Something like that. So, you know, I just use a normal tissue, you know, Kleenex variety, to mop up any excess glue I might have. And I think I got that on there pretty well. So there is that already done. Put my lid on my glue, let that dry just a moment, and then I'll cut it out. Just make that a nice little sharp curve. This is a kind of cardstock weight, so I'm not going to try to cut that off with the sanding that I do. You know how I do that sometimes. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is this is going to go next to this. So this is my clipping of an ornate border or a frame. This comes in the mail. My husband gets Arbor Day mail a lot because he's bought trees from the Arbor Day Society. He's the planting guy. And so they will send a little certificate that, you know, this, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he donates or that's considered a donation or whatever. So he gets this certificate, you know, as a kind of a thank you thing, saying he's part of the Arbor Day, whatever. So he gives those to me because he doesn't keep them because they don't really mean anything to him. So he gives them to me. So that's the next thing that's going to go on here. But before I do that, I am going to cut this off so I don't have to deal with all of this excess paper. So that is the next thing I'm putting down, and that is the fifth thing on the list. Yeah, right before the bonus. So let me get this put around. My scissors. I don't want to cut this circle too good for some reason. Okay, so we got that done. I wanted to cut it off because I wanted to save as much of this as I could for something else. So we'll lay that aside. And I'm going to go ahead and take my little sandpaper and kind of clean this up a little bit. I like for it to feel smooth, and that's what I use this for. And then I also don't like to have that, I roll the edge over a little bit with the sandpaper so that it's a little bit, oops, I just dropped my border. So that it's a little bit rounded over. And now I'm going to put my border, but I am just going to glue along this edge here because I need to slip this other piece of paper under. So let's get that down. These prompts lately have been very random is the best word I can think of for them. And this one is no different. So I did what I could. I like to have them relate in some way. So I did what I could for that relationship. And I think I made it be okay. Uh-oh, did I glue that down? I tried not to. Here's my little spatula. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, good. It just needs to be lifted up a little bit so I can get this other piece under it. And then we'll glue the rest of that down. Okay, so that is my clock tower. It's a drawing. And this is my clipping of an ornate border. And then we need a handwritten list or note. So this is left over from some other one, coaster collage I did. And this is a list of numbers. So we're using that as the rest of the background. Here, just like that. And I'll just get that glued down. Oh, let's mark it too, so I'll know where to glue so that I don't put more glue than is necessary. Then I won't have as much to have to wipe off. So let's get this one marked. I can do this with my finger easier. Yep, the fingernail works. Good enough. I think I can get it. Yep, that's good enough. Where did I do? Here's the glue. So we'll get some glue on there. Well, we have had some cooler weather. I'm again filming early, so when you see this, the cooler weather will have come and gone. But I'm filming this in early August, and we're about to have cooler weather for this time of year, which is nice. We just got back from Phoenix, Arizona, and we got there, when we got there on a Friday, it was 104 degrees. But the rest of the time we were there, and we were there 5 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, 5 days, counting the day we arrived and the day we left, which we left at midnight on the day we left, so that certainly counts. But anyway, we got there early morning on a Friday. It was 104 degrees. But the rest of the days were in the 90s. High 90s for sure, but in the 90s. And that, we were told, was record. This one person told us it was record cooler temps for Arizona. We were in Phoenix. So we had cooler weather there, which was really, you know, I'm from the South, so it gets hot. It doesn't get to be 100 for the most part. I mean, it gets 98, 97, so it gets warm. And we have humidity, of course. And, so, you know, everybody says, oh, it's hot in Arizona and Wyoming and all those different places, but it's a dry heat, so it's so much better. I beg to differ. It is hot, just like it is where I live, and hotter. But it is dry. But think of opening your oven door that has been set on 100 degrees or better, 110, 15, whatever. Open the door and put your head in it. It's hot. Humidity or not, it's like an oven, so it's hot. Okay, so I have my background and my border. So this is the list, this is the border, and this is the clock tower. Now, we need a bridge. So I have this, and this is cut from scrapbooking paper. And I just made it look a little bit like a stamp. And that's not a, it might be no, it's not a Stamperia paper, I don't think. It's another high-end scrapbooking paper line. And it just had this, and this was from the cover of a 6x6 pad. Part, you know, it had a picture of each page on the front, so that made this be smaller. So that's a page in this book. And I just liked the way that looked. So I'm not going to glue that down yet, because stuck on here, I have my washi tape and something red. So that is this piece here. It split when I took it off the roll. It split in half, so I have to do it in pieces. And I am going to, so this is going to go here. And I am going to, I actually moved this over further than I meant to, because this, I was supposed to have more room here. Oh well, that's the way it goes. It'll be fine. So I'm going to stick this, if I can get it to flatten out enough to stick it under there. So this is going to go, this is why I'm not putting this down yet, because it's going to go underneath here just a little bit, like that. So we'll get that down. And then this is the other little piece that goes to that. So I can get that down next. I need some little tweezers. So I thought, because I looked to see down the roll, this roll, I'll show you the roll in a minute. It has all these little mail things on it. And I didn't really want to have to go all the way down to where this little stamp was again and cut it out. So I just decided I would match this up. And if it isn't perfect, it's okay. Okay, let me show you the washi tape. This is the washi tape this is from. Is this it? Yeah, is this it? Hold on. I think it is. Yes. Okay, this is the one it's from. I'll show you. What am I talking about? If I can find the end. Here it is. So I was going to have to roll this out a long way. There is that stamp again, and it was all of this much. I was going to have to figure out what to do with, and I didn't want to do that, so I just thought I'd piece that one together, and it works. So I'm good with that. So that is my washi tape, but then I have another little piece of washi tape right here that's going to go over the stamp. So now I can glue this down. And I put this on a piece of coffee dyed paper. It has lines on it, but I didn't care. It was the right color because I wanted it to be on coffee dyed paper, and it was what I had handy. So I used what I have, and I try to use things that I already have in my stash. I try not to go print something out. So far, I've not had to because I want to use what's in my stash. I want to use it up. That's my goal, trying to use up stuff. I have been going through and throwing things out. Well, not throwing them out, but donating things that I decide I would not use. And just kind of cleaning out my craft room. That's been my goal for this year, and I've done a pretty good job. I used to scrapbook, and I don't do that anymore. So I have gotten rid of some of the scrapbooking things that I know that I will not use in journals or in collages or whatever. So this is this is off that same roll that this was on. So this is the other bit of washi tape, and it's going to go right up there. And I think that's it. Now, that is my collage. Let me get the frank burlap, which is what I've been inking. Let me pull in just a little bit. It's what I've been inking the edges with. So we'll just go around this and ink. Now, my theme on this is kind of travel related. Because, you know, we've got the Eiffel Tower, we've got this bridge, wherever that might be. I also have, I think I'm going to put this over here. I also have another bit of washi I can put over here. Because that's kind of big, open area. And I got another piece here. I'm going to trim this one down. These were off of that same washi tape. And so I might as well use them up. And I've got this extra area over here that I didn't mean to have. And so maybe I'll just use these there. So I'm calling this kind of travel themed. I want to take this piece back up and cut around it. I don't like to have that extra, since it's a vellum type background, which doesn't completely disappear. So I like to be, oops, kind of close to the edge. Now I have tape stuck to my fingers. Well, anyway, we had a good time in Arizona. We went there for a concert, and that was good. And we also drove up into the mountains a little bit, about an hour north of where we were at, and we went to the zoo and shopping and antiquing. I like to go, as we, you know, as we do, I like to go thrifting and antiquing. So I did that while we were there. Okay, let's see which way is up here. This way is up. So that says Paris. This looks like it's in the, you know, in Florida or somewhere. So I'm going to cut that off. Then we have this airmail stamp. So we have the Big Ben in London. We have this bridge, which I don't know where that could be. That looks like it could be, I don't know, maybe in the countryside of London, or maybe in the countryside of France, or maybe in the countryside of Ireland. So I'm calling this kind of like a travel theme deal here. So let me get this down. And then you've got stamps where you've mailed cards, postcards to people, wishing you were here, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm calling this, is a little travel log. Okay. And that is my collage. So I need to take this and kind of go over that again. Let's go over the prompts. Bring it back down just a little tiny bit. Okay, let's go over the prompts. And then I need to, no, I think they're probably good enough. Okay, let's go over the prompts. So we have a drawing or a photo of a clock tower, and that's Big Ben. And a handwritten list or note, and I have a list of numbers here, which came from a vintage ledger, and it looked like that. I have a bridge, which is on this pretend stamp here. I have a clipping of an ornate border or frame, which this is a border that was from a certificate my husband got from the Arbor Day Foundation. Something red is this faux stamp. A clipping of that's the border or frame, and then something red is this, and then the washi tape is this, and this. So we've got several pieces of washi tapes from the same tape on here, and that is my collage for this week. It turned out good. It took some thinking, but I finally got it. Again, seemingly random prompts came together okay. I've been struggling with them having a purpose, something that kind of goes together, but I think this turned out well. I had debated about where to put the border, but I'm glad I put it next to this. It's just, I don't know. It works. Anyway, so I thank you for coming along. Let me know if you think this worked and if you like this collage. I like it. I don't know that it's my favorite, but it turned out okay. And I'd like to know what you think. So thank you all for coming. If you've been following me all along, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate it so very much. And if you have just found me, welcome. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video and kind of seeing my thought process and how I make things come together. And I appreciate you as well. So I hope you'll be back. And those who have always followed along, I hope you'll be back too. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.